Yeah.
They played today a couple droughts.
I mean, I'm really disappointed in. I love the way that we started. I really thought that was good. And honestly, we have to respond better. But in order to respond better, you got to rebound the ball, and you can't foul. And so your offense is going to be a lot better if you rebound and we don't foul. I think you're right. I think we had some moments where we're still learning, and you could see that, especially when Reagan was in foul trouble in the first half. You could see our offense, like, we just got to get better. And then found some good looks, and we got to finish some of those, and some went in. So we had 15 assists at the half. I thought that was pretty good in terms of our movement. We just aren't necessarily shooting it all that well. But we got to find different ways to manufacture some paint points, especially when Reagan's not in. And there's nothing you can do in this league if we cannot rebound the ball.
Jennie, 21 more free throws by a team is pretty telling. What does that tell you about how the game played out?
Exactly that. That's why you're down by a lot. Because at one point, I think wasn't it 14-0 at one point from free throws? So we can't rely on fouling. I'm not going to sit here and play victim mode. I'm not, because I'm not saying that you are.
Not being too aggressive.
No, we don't box out, and we're exposed, and we refuse to do those little things that we have to be able to do, and so we got to be able to learn that. And they're really good at that, but also, if we don't do that in this league, we're not going anywhere, and that's something that I think a lot of our fouls came from that. And sure, we needed to guard better, no question, but it's really hard to guard a free throw. And so we got to make sure that we don't put them on the free throw line to be able to have to guard that.
Jennie, with Reagan out, Brooklyn gave you a little bit of lift there in the first half. How much will a game like today, I guess, kind of further her development?
Well, I think Brooklyn is doing really good things, and again, foul trouble too. She has 3 fouls in the first half and ends up fouling out of the game. And so you can see she really find her way, getting some flow for us and finding some opportunities. She can run. She's learning. She's got to not foul too. We don't have the luxury of then being able to put someone else in, especially with Beatrice out. So that's a big thing for us. But I thought she did some really good things today, other than her fouls.
How difficult can it be when you hit some threes early to get people to continue to run your offense and
Yeah.
continue to go in the paint?
Yeah, 100%. And it's, I think we started to settle a little bit. And honestly, I thought we're going to go and we're going to watch it again. I just thought some of our cutting was a little delayed, where we just got to time it up a little bit better, especially when Reagan's not in there. But Reagan provided a lot more from a defensive rebounding standpoint. But then we got to reward her a little bit more too. She's got to shoot more than 8 times a game for us to be in a game. So we definitely have some work to do in understanding that. But it was a physical game, and I think our guards got pushed a little bit. And we gotta learn, and we gotta hold our ground. And that's especially in Aaliyah and Isaiah, I think the physicality got to them today. That's SEC basketball. That's, if you want to go compete for anything, you got to learn that. And so it's one thing for us doing that in practice. It's a whole different thing experiencing it. So they're going to learn from it. There's times where it's, a lot of our cutters think they're open, or our people think they're open, and they can't quite get it to them yet because they got to hold their own ground. And so, and I think Kaya Smith felt that today. I think Keziah Lofton felt that today. And so that's something that we've got to do a better job of being able to get a little bit more powerful and a little less finesse.
Payton, I see you nodding your head to quite a bit of that. What do you think about the state of the offense, the way that things went today, and what y'all need to do to come out of this?
Well, I think I'm trying to look at it positively. I think this is all stuff that we've known, and that we're getting better at, and that we're working at in practice. And obviously times that we did it during the game. I think obviously this league is really good, and we're going to have many more games where it's going to be close. And we have South Carolina next. And so I think for us, just looking forward, we have so much that we're going to get better at. And obviously we know that we can control those things. So that's good for us looking forward.
Jennie, you mentioned Reagan only getting 8 shots. Why do you think she only got so few paint touches today?
Well, it's hard to pass her on the bench. We needed her to play more. And then in the second half, we needed to be a little bit more. Part of it, too, is hard when you're down by a lot. And so you're trying to push a tempo, and she's the one rebounding to get outlets to push a tempo. So there's some of that. But it's also us finding her a little bit more. I mean, there were times she's yelling for it, and we needed to get it to her a lot faster. And then there's times that, this league is so good in terms of knowing that she's good, right? So they collapsed on every catch. So we've got to be able to check it first and then go. And we turned it over too much because of our hesitation. This is maybe not the first, but we were a lot more hesitant today than I was anticipating us being. And that's on us not getting ourselves prepared. I mean, especially as coaches, we've got to prepare us more. I thought the reason that we shot the ball really well at the beginning, I don't think there was any hesitation on anything that we were doing. We cut to the basket, we were fine. And then you got to have some resiliency when the other team's going to make a run. They're too good not to make a run. The game's not over in the first 5 minutes. So I think that's why I think we just got started to feel everything instead of just really relying on our instincts to be able to play and be able to get ball movement. And so I think we just kind of got stuck and we just couldn't get it in there, or we just hesitated too much and the moment passes you.
Jenny, you talked about Reagan obviously not being able to score from the bench. Did you think about sticking with her a little bit longer there in the first half?
Yeah, I really did. And then I thought Brooklyn Stewart was doing some really good things for us, and I thought she was holding it, and it was still a game. And obviously when she picked up her third, we had, we put her back in. There were multiple times, and sometimes you just have to judge how they're officiating the game. If they're letting you play and there's certain calls that are happening, there's certain things that she can get away from. I thought that, the fouls that were called, I thought it was we needed her in the second half, and I knew that. And so hindsight's 20/20, but it was definitely part of the conversation for sure. And I don't know if I would go back if I would do that different, but I do think that that's where Brooklyn, you could see her really getting her rhythm when Reagan was out.
Payton, you guys have not been in this situation very much at all since Jenny's been the head coach, where you've lost consecutive games like this. What do you guys say together when you guys are together? What do you guys say to keep above this, to keep this going, and get this better?
Yeah, like I said, the SEC is such a great conference that if you hang your head after one loss, then it's going to be 5 losses before you know it. So I think for us, it's one game at a time. And obviously, losing 3 in a row sucks, and that's stuff that we're going to go into practice and we're going to learn and we're going to watch film. But again, we have plenty more games that we're going to get better. So I'm not worried. I know that we have a team we're going to come in and we're going to work for each other. So I'm not worried about how we're going to respond.
As a veteran leader, how do you balance everything you want to improve on while still keeping everyone's confidence high, so when you get into a game, there's not a hesitation or anything like that?
Yeah. I just think that that's just the kind of system and the kind of culture that we have at Oklahoma, where we're never, like Jenny was saying, we're never going to go out there and hesitate for a shot. And I think there were moments where he did that. I did that tonight too. And I think just being confident in ourselves, and sometimes you can't rely on other people to give you that confidence. You do have to have that confidence within yourself. So, but on the leadership, I wish I would have done better at getting the ball into Reagan, or having us get the ball into Reagan, because, even looking at her plus minus, when she's on the floor, we're good. So I think we just got to get her the ball and work from there. So.
Jenny, how do you expect your players to respond to this stretch? Or what can you learn about them as they get through this?
That's a good question, what you can learn. Our standard and our expectation is probably, it might be too high for young players, but I'm not going to change that. And I think the expectation is that you got to come in to win every possession, and that's where we're not holding that standard right now. You don't get a choice if you want to box out. You don't get a choice if you want to attack the rim. You don't get a choice if you want to play together. And we have too many choices right now that we're making. And as a team, we've got to grow together a little bit more. I don't think we're doing a great job right now of really trying to set each other up. I do think part of that is youth trying to do the right thing. And there's a fine line in that. And so I think we're trying to learn a lot. But I'd like to see us have a little bit more trust and chemistry. I think that's where you're going to start to see things go a little bit better than where they are right now, because good teams expose you. They're supposed to, but if we're playing this for the long game, I think there's a lot more that can come. But the expectation is that you come in and we got to get a hell of a lot better. We can't have back-to-back turnovers when you've cut it and you have all momentum, and then we have 2 total big mistakes, leaving somebody wide open on a block. That's 8-point swing like that. And in this league, against this kind of team that's averaging as many points as they are, we just can't have those things. And so that's where we just have to get a lot better.
Big picture wise, is it too early to worry about resume at this point, quad one wins, seeding, all that stuff? Or how do you think about that as you're still on the early stages of the conference schedule?
Yeah, I don't care about that. I probably should, and I don't. We have to get better. We're just, we have enough talent on our team, but we got to shoot better, clearly. We got to get it to each other a little better, clearly. And we got to learn to guard. We got to learn to do both. When we focus so much on defense, we get really locked in on defense, and then we can't score. Then we try to focus on offense, and we get really locked in on offense, and we don't guard. So at the end of the day, I don't really care what you do. You got to rebound on both ends, and we didn't do that today. So yeah, I don't know what our resume is. It's probably not good. I don't, at this point, don't care. It doesn't matter. There's nothing we can do about it. We've got to get better to go forward.
It's been a long time since there's been a sellout here. Did you guys maybe take a moment just before tip-off to kind of drink it all in?
It's so cool. It really is to be able to have all the little girls in the tunnel, to be able to come out of that tunnel, and everybody tries to stripe their arena, but it was striped, and you could see it, and it was so cool. I feel terrible. I love how we started. Everybody was in it. I feel terrible that we weren't better to be able to finish it, but so cool. And I won't take that for granted at all, and I hope people still come back. I hope they can see that there's something special about the group, and we're going to get better for you, I promise. But I really hope people keep coming back, because these women, they are amazing women, and they're just great role models for young people especially, and I saw a lot of young people here today.
What can Leah learn from a game like this? A game where she maybe isn't the best athlete on the floor and can't impose her will and has to find other ways to get the team forward. What can she learn from this?
Well, I think just that. I think the biggest thing for our team to learn is we've just got to out-team people, because we can't out one-on-one them, and that's something that we've got to be able to learn, and we've got to be able to find different ways. And so sometimes when you can't drive past somebody, you got to pass it. Sometimes it's setting people up in different angles, and I think that's something I hope that we really take away, is learning how to set each other up, and believing in each other and helping. We got to be able to help her a little bit more when we're in it, because I think obviously she's got a lot of potential, but she's putting a little bit too much on her shoulders right now too, and she's going to have to learn, and she'll learn.
Jennie, for you,
I got time. It's fine.
you got to spend time this summer with Flage at Team USA, and I saw the hug after the game and everything. Obviously, a really impressive game from her. I'm just from your perspective now.
Yeah, I know. It's
scout
probably her
against-
best game, huh?
Yeah. So
It's just awesome.
Just from your perspective, having coached her and obviously coached against her, what makes her a unique player?
Yeah, I think in space, I think she's really good. She was feeling it. She can get, just a rhythm to her game that's really impressive, and I love that part of her. And she works. She's not somebody that, I know she has all the other stuff, but she, at the end of the day, just grinds and she works. She showed up a lot before. She stayed after. It's not always easy to live with a camera in your face and all eyes on you all the time. And I think for her, to still just work every day is really impressive. She's an impressive young person.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Sorry we were terrible. Boomer.